Und ich denke oft, Vergangenheit und Zukunft sind einander so ähnlich. Die Pathologin und der Wahrsager, der Archäologe und die Science-Fiction-Autorin. Auf gewisse Weise tun sie exakt dasselbe. Sie alle versuchen, etwas zu verstehen, zu dem sie nie Zugang haben werden. Seht ihr? In einem Leichnam herumzuwühlen oder sich eine ungewisse Zukunft vorzustellen, auf eine Art ist das genau dasselbe. Es ist genau dasselbe. My name is Sivan Ben Yishai. I live in Berlin now for 14 years. And I would say that I exclusively now dedicate my time for writing. I used to work more in the realms of stage. I used to direct, I used to perform, and now I dedicate my time to words. Paradoxally, I would say that once I immigrated and changed the language in which I operate, I started to write. I write in English. My English is being translated into German. And in this spectrum between the languages, between Hebrew, my native language, English, the language in which I write, and German, the main language in which my plays are being performed or my essays are being read, I think and I live, privately and politically. Thematisch, I would say that I think about Hervé Gibert, who said that he is like the scientist and the rat he or she slits open. And I guess that according to that, there is this certain biopsy that I take from my own body, and by this I refer to my private and social and political body, and then dissect it and zoom into it. I would say that the themes that I repeatedly discover are, I would say let's say the spectrum between feminist struggles and the question of struggles and when do they end, and do they end at all. I would then go to another ecke that is the ecke of the Israeli-Palestinian German Bermuda Triangle, I call it, the area where discourses end and where writing could begin. And the last ecke might be institutional, the theater and institutional questions that come with the theater, starting from the legacy of the theater and institutional power, hierarchies, the better institution, the better democratical institution, and power dynamics. And I guess that along those three themes I write and I operate, and then it's never about one theme, but more about this very fluid area in between them. I ask myself as artists, where should we hear our resistance? To which protest are we joining? Which protests are we leading? Are the protests that we're leading only the protests that are related to our Kürzungen, of budgets, of salaries, etc., of Stellen? Or are we finding a way to, again, refer to our body as an art industry or art world, analyze it and see how it helps us understand the changes that our society is going through right now under those strong forces that are taking over the country, the city, the world. When I think about tomorrow, I actually think about another legacy that is rather colonial, rather imperialist, rather patriarchal, rather product-driven legacy that trains us to think with Rezepten, trains us to think with scripts, trains us to think with huge Bühnenbilder. Whereas actually the deep questions of our time, the deep problems of our time are seeking an answer right now. We are collecting now new tools, or trying to collect now new tools in order to think again about resistance, in order to think again about Leben and Überleben, in order to think about supporting our neighbors, understanding who our communities are and how we create alliances. When I think about the room that we are going to create in and for Brave New Voices in the Ruhrtriennale, I'm thinking a little bit about the way that I work with my language. We are willing to create an intergenerational room, an interthematische room, an interlingual room. So for example, I am thinking in Hebrew, writing in English, and communicating like in German. I like to speak in English in order to express myself in the best way, and I like my Gesprächspartner like to express themselves like in German in order for them to be like in the area where they could understand and feel like the language in the best way. It's a room that is vulnerable in a certain way. I always feel that I write with the broken bone. I write with mistakes. I redefine mastership in a certain way. My ideas will not necessarily perform through fancy vocabulary, but they have to make their way in a different form. And this is, in a certain way, how I imagine this room. I imagine a room that could approach a topic from different positions. I imagine a room that includes an expert, includes a poetic position and a poetological position, and I imagine a room that would represent voices that normally are not being represented in certain discussions. I would imagine like an expert speaking with a non-expert, trying to find and understand again like the collision that is us in the world right now, or us trying to handle a certain political reality. And as such, I think that we want to create a form of an ecosystem that holds together different voices, different bodies, different ages. I see stage animals, and I see publicum, and I see us all speaking and engaging in a discussion that has no facet and that can't reach a solution necessarily. We are not looking for a product solution, but we are looking for an intelligent discussion. And we want to somehow enlighten like our positions and our understandings, maybe even in 1 millimeter. I believe that if we will do that, we will probably succeed. When the curation for this version of Brave New Voices was done by the dramaturg of the Reihe, Jan Betnorts, and myself, we actually made the decision to go through a wide spectrum of topics. We are speaking about capitalism and climate crisis, climate change and climate justice. We are on the spectrum between loneliness and AI. And I think that by that, we didn't mean to come and give like a lecture about the topics, but we wanted to get into the nexus between the topics, the area where they are all entangled in one another, which means that there is no chance to speak about Kapitalismus without speaking about Einsamkeit. And there is no way to speak about Einsamkeit without speaking about AI, and so on. We are trying, in a way, to find this elusive, sneaky area between the topics and the way that it embodies and performs in our bodies. We will try to collect experiences, and we will try to see and understand the way that those topics come into play in our thinking, in our art making, and in our political analysis of the time. The Brave New Voices Reihe will take place starting from the 21st of August every Sunday in the Jahrhunderthalle in Bochum. We will speak in German and in English. We will speak with a multiplicity of guests and voices. We will have young voices. We will have voices that hold a lot of expertise. We will try to look for the connections between one Gespräch and another. In a way, we see this Reihe as a whole. 4 meetings that make one full discussion. 4 meetings that are trying to aim at the same ziel. So we will be looking forward for everyone to join us and to speak with us. We will be willing to clear off space for voices to intervene, to give their Zwischenruf, and to join us into a discussion from which we could get out with at least one new thought in our minds and one idea about the present we live in and the future that we are stepping into.